What's up, everybody? You're back with Sykes, my ex. I'm Esmarie. I have my friend. You guys have seen him before. Guest tonight is Ekko Sykes.
How you doing?
And we are gonna do another holiday drink. We just wanted to do a holiday cosmopolitan. If you've had a Cosmo, you know how it tastes. We're just gonna add a little bit of a twist to it. So all you need is some vodka of your choice, some triple sec, some lime juice, cranberry juice, and then to make it a little festive, we have some glitter and some simple syrup so that we could rim our glasses. And I'm gonna add a little bit of edible glitter. Okay, so you're gonna need an ounce of cranberry juice, an ounce of the triple sec, an ounce of the lime juice, and 2 ounces of the vodka. Obviously, I'm gonna do a double amount since it's for 2 drinks. So we're probably just gonna use the rest of the cranberry juice. I have a little bit of like crayon grape, I think, if we need more, but I think we'll be fine.
Cranberry flaps.
Huh?
Cranberry slaps. Cranberry flaps.
Cranberry slaps?
Say it fast.
I can't, yeah, I was like,
Yeah, do not.
I was like, I cannot say that fast. I don't even, never mind.
Listen, the best drinks are made by eyeballing it.
Oh, no, I mean,
You have ever measured a drink?
no, I mean, I know, I was just thinking of something funny.
Dude.
What?
Why do I feel like I know what it is?
You don't.
I feel like I know what it is.
Shake. Oh, Jesus, fuck. God, I almost just lost the whole drink. All right, let's stir it. I feel like it was supposed to be darker. Do you see sparkles? Not really. Okay.
It just looks like cloudy.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna add some more of this because it's supposed to be sparkly. Hold on.
Have you done apple teeny yet?
No.
I hear they're all the rage.
Oh yeah? Not seeing the glitter. This is horse shit. I don't know what's happening, but either way, it's still a pretty holiday drink color. I wanted to see the swirlies and the glitter and fuck that shit. Cheers.
It's pretty good.
It's a little sweet.
I thought it had some bite to it.
I am full of blonde moments today. So normally when you do a Cosmo, you do regular vodka. It seems your girl grabbed vanilla vodka. So that would explain the sweetness.
Damn, we have to make another one then.
No.
No, I was invited over here to try a particular drink and do a particular episode. I wasn't given that.
So wait, but do you like it?
Yeah, so much so that I want to try how it's supposed to taste.
It's not bad. What does it taste like? It tastes like something, doesn't it? When you first taste it, it tastes like, but it's a familiar taste.
It kind of reminds me of like that orange creamsicle.
Yes.
Thanks for the drink.
Let's just get to the next episode. What would you put up with or should put up with in a relationship before you decide to call it quits or move on? I think a lot of times we fight too hard for people that we care about or give up too easy when we should have tried a little harder. So I think this is a really good topic to talk about. We've been...
I got plenty.
Yeah, we've been through a lot in our relationships. So I would say we both have... I think we put up with too much sometimes, and we don't feel, at least me, I don't feel like people put up with enough. Like I think people give up on me too easy, but it takes a lot for me to give up on somebody.
I'm pretty well a discarded item, like quick to be discarded.
Yeah.
And I'm over here pretty much hanging on to trash.
Yeah, you know, it's...
And I hope they're all watching.
What would you say is something that you feel is appropriate to keep fighting for or to put up with in a relationship or work on with your partner?
I think that people focus too much on looking for similarities. Like, oh, we're not really into this. We have a lot in common, but you don't like that thing. So it's kind of a deal breaker. And it's just like, dude, you're not going to be the exact same.
Yeah.
You know, like, like if somebody was fond of, I don't know, something nerdy, like Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yeah.
Like just hypothetical, because
like
I'm not into that. I'm not a weirdo. I mean, if you're into that, that's cool.
We listen and don't judge.
All right, my bad. Personal opinion slipping out already. So like, let's say a dude is really into Dungeons and Dragons and the chick ain't, right?
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a deal breaker though.
Yeah.
Because they have other things in common.
Right.
Now, if you have nothing in common, like at all.
Yeah, like I actually agree. Like I don't think like if one person is really into like health and fitness and like gym rat, I don't think that should be a complete deal breaker. If the other person doesn't go to the gym every day and eat a strict healthy diet, like I think that's something that like they can compromise on. You could still like be healthy or like not let yourself go without making it like your whole life every day. Like I have had people tell me they were shocked that I would give them a chance because they were vegan. And I was like, why? I'm like, just because you choose to eat that way, like, okay, that's what you want to do. But as long as you don't judge me for eating what I like to eat, then it's like, all right, you know, like.
I couldn't do a vegan.
Really? Oh, see, that's so funny.
A big part of my thing is going to nice restaurants and trying out new restaurants. If I can't do that with my person, because like,
yeah, but they have vegan options. That's my point. I'm like, bro, as long as like we cool, like as long as we can go to those restaurants.
But another thing that I'm into is like grilling and smoking meat.
Oh yeah.
And they're gonna complain the whole.
It just, what does it have to smell? Like what?
Yeah.
You got to parade the meat around like that and like show it up, like, you know what I mean?
Well, but see, this is a perfect example. Like, what is too much to put up with, and what isn't? Like,
yeah,
is
but
that
dude,
a deal breaker?
but like, I feel like even that, to be honest with you, is not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's like a silly thing. If it's just the one thing, if it's a whole bunch of things, you know, then I can understand. But if it's just like a few.
I know a lot of people that think that communication issues are like a huge deal breaker. And while I believe communication is top 3, one of the most important aspects of a relationship, I think as long as the communication is respectful and it's not like toxic and degrading, I think that I can work with someone who struggles to communicate how they feel or maybe struggles to express how they feel. I can work on that with them. I mean, hell, I had to do that with my own daughter. Like there was a couple years where, I mean, it was pulling teeth to get her to open up and to tell me what was going on. And instead of getting frustrated and angry, which some parents would, they would just, well, you know, but I really worked with her on it. And now she tells me everything. She's very open. She doesn't hesitate. And so I think that's something that I could work with. But there's some people who are like, no, bro, like if you don't know how to communicate and you don't know how to talk to me about what's going on, bye, done. And I think that's gonna cause you to miss out on good things because some people didn't have that safe space growing up to speak, and it kind of rolled into adulthood. It is something that they need to work on, but I don't think it's something that means like, okay, they don't deserve a relationship.
I dated a couple girls who I kind of felt like they just didn't want to communicate. Like one, anytime there was an issue, she would just leave. It wouldn't even be, it's not like, because you know, if I get heated, I'm taking off. There was no yelling, there's no fighting or anything. It was just like a problem. And then instead of addressing it and communicating like adults, she would just bail.
Yeah, that's definitely, but that's something I could work with someone. Now, eventually, it would definitely get frustrating, and I would have to sit them down and be like, listen, if this is how you're going to handle each situation, we're never going to get anywhere. But I would rather them have issues running away from their problems that we could work through, rather than someone who has outbursts, someone who says things in the spur of the moment in a very disrespectful manner, or, you know, just like spazzes disrespectfully,
so like
and then tries to apologize.
Name calling, condescending.
Yes. Yeah. Bringing up vulnerabilities that I've expressed to you, like stuff like that. Like that's the kind of stuff that
yelling really loud.
Yes. Yelling, screaming, throwing things.
Forehead vein popping out.
Oh, you know what?
What? Oh, I didn't even notice. You know, like what's the difference between speaking passionately and yelling? Like I haven't figured it out. I haven't figured it out yet.
I do say that. I always say that when I'm speaking, I speak passionately.
If it's passionately, why is your forehead vein popping out?
Because I'm just,
you know who else's forehead vein used to pop out? The Macho Man's, and he was always yelling.
But no, I don't say like hateful, like mean, degrading things. Like, yeah, I'm stern and I'm passionate. I'm definitely gonna let you know I'm upset or I'm frustrated. But there's certain things that people will, oh, well, I was just in the heat of the moment. I was just mad. No, like that's poor communication.
Crossing a line.
Yeah, and those are things you can't take back.
I will say I'm pretty good on that though. Whenever it gets to that point, I always remember like no name calling, no bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to like try to come back from something later.
Yeah. Speaking of the person that always would run away, I had someone who I could tell like they would prefer to have conflict or confrontation over the phone, like texting or calling. I could tell that in person, they would kind of shut down and get very defensive and like they would just be automatically on edge. And I could be talking so calm. I could be rubbing their leg. I could be doing everything possible to try to show them like this is not a combative space. And I could tell it made them very uncomfortable to speak in person.
Love that, bro. I'd be so cool with that because I've never had that. It's always just been toxic.
But some people, they're so not used to that they're almost like, because they feel so uncomfortable, they don't like it. But that's something I could work with.
I don't have patience anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't. I've already been through it all. I've already put up with so much that I shouldn't have, and I've let a lot of stuff slide because I hang on. Like I'm just like, all right, well, unless it's something catastrophic, I can let a lot slide.
That's another good one though, patience. So that's a big one for a lot of people too, is like, I've talked to some people that are like, I don't have very much patience anymore. And I think that patience is when you're learning somebody, patience is kind of a big thing.
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
I agree, because if you like somebody and you care about them. See, the joke has always been I'm a very impatient person, except for when it comes to relationships. I will put up and like be patient with so much stuff, and that's ironic.
Well, and I would almost go as far to say is like, I think someone's level of patience with you determines or like is a big factor of how much they care. Because I think when you care about someone, you naturally are gonna want to be patient, only for the simple fact that, like you said, if it's not catastrophic, I'm not just gonna be done like you would getting impatient at the gas station in line with like strangers.
Like the lottery guy. Dude.
That was so funny.
He said what we were all thinking.
I love people like that. What is something that you don't think you should put up with?
Heavy substance abuse. Because you remember, dated a closet,
Yeah.
and then it came out.
Yep.
And I put up with it when I should have just,
Yeah.
And my dumb ass hit her with an ultimatum. Well, it's either me or that thing. That stuff you like so much.
Yeah.
You know that she even said like, well, I don't know. How am I supposed to choose between somebody that I care about and something that gives me life? And I was like, did you just say that shit gives you life?
What?
Right then and there.
That should have been the red flag to fucking dip.
Younger Ryan. Okay. If I can go back, I'd be like, run. Get the fuck out. Because the drugs are always going to win, dude.
Yeah.
So off the rip, substance abuse.
Yeah, and I think that's important because it's not, substance abuse can be in many different forms. And I myself had a person not want to deal with me when they felt like I was abusing alcohol and putting myself in bad positions. And later on, in the moment, I was like, damn, like, how can you just give up on me? Like, I'm not a bad person, right? That was always my thing. And now looking back at it years later, I'm like, you know what? That is 100% valid, because nobody wants to have to sit there and deal with somebody. Now, with your situation, I don't know that kind of abuse and dealing with someone dating wise, but at least when it comes to alcohol, you don't want to constantly deal with someone who can't handle their alcohol or gets their personality changes when they drink, putting themselves in bad positions, constantly being sloppy. Like, there's so many different aspects of it. So yeah, I would say a substance abuse is a huge, like, no, I'm not willing to work with that. You need to work on yourself before I even touch a relationship. And it's so funny because I was like, if you would have asked me that 5 years ago, I'd have been like, oh, that's not that bad. Like, you can, and now I'm like, I totally see why he didn't want to be with me. I'm so glad I'm not that person anymore, but
And as soon as she got off of all of it, she just became an entirely different person. Oh, that's another thing, dude. I used to ask her, like, is it you talking when you say these nice things, or is it the shit talking?
yeah.
It was the shit talking.
That actually is another good point on why I won't be with someone who has issues with alcohol, because I've dated people who will say one thing when they're intoxicated, or they'll be a different version of themselves when they're intoxicated, and then when they're sober, they're like a totally different person. And it's so hot and cold that I'm like, it's a emotional and mental roller coaster, and it's not fair. It's like it's gotten to a point where it's like I almost like you better when you're drinking, and that's a problem. Like, you shouldn't be a more open version of yourself, a more caring and affectionate version of yourself when you have alcohol in your system. You should be able to be that same version of yourself when you're sober with me. So I don't tolerate that at all.
I feel like I get more of myself when I'm drunk. I'm like the same person,
Yeah.
but just a little more loose, I guess, and louder.
You louder?
Definitely,
No
definitely
way.
louder. Huh?
I think another something that I will not put up with is someone who doesn't know how to emotionally regulate, like as far as anger. You can have problems communicating, but like someone who just gets so angry so quickly, or holds on to anger for a long period of time, that's something I can't really work with, because
Well, now wait a minute, because we both technically have anger issues.
no.
We've both seen each other pretty angry.
Yeah, but we don't have anger issues. I think
Yeah, I guess.
I used to have anger issues when I was younger. Like when I was in high school, oh my gosh, I had anger issues, bro. I was
same.
Yeah, and I'm not like that anymore. I'm very go with the flow. I'm very love and light. I'm very like, I'm over it in 5 seconds. Like, oh no, I used to be bad.
My whole thing with anger has always just
I
been
used to punch shit. I mean, I used to break shit.
well, I never did none of that. Maybe it was like a rare occasion where I would like just knock something off the counter and be like, God damn it, bro. But my whole thing, and it was usually, I was by myself too. So it was like,
I broke this hand twice. You can feel it. My bone is not the same as this hand because I punched shits all the time.
I would never punch a wall or anything I know I couldn't destroy, but it was a rare occasion I punched something. But my whole thing with anger has always just been like, I'll probably get a little bit more upset about something than most people, and then I'll just get loud and rant and pace for a moment, you know, bitching about it the whole time. That's always just been it. And I guess people find that annoying and a deal breaker. I'm like, I could be throwing plates, breaking lamps and shit. Like, if all I do is just bitch for a moment, what's the big deal?
I think when it comes to what you're getting upset about, how quickly you're getting upset, how long you stay upset, I think that's what matters in when it comes to anger issues. Like, if it takes a lot to like get you to that breaking point, then I wouldn't say you have anger issues. Like my dad, for instance, I've heard him yell maybe twice, maybe 3 times my whole life. Like, it takes my dad a lot to get to like an angry, like whatever. So when he's there, if you got my dad to that level, you know, you just want to stay away. And in a relationship, if you're dating someone and every little thing pisses them off, they constantly are just spouting off and snapping at people and throwing things, or screaming and yelling, or like, you know, one thing pisses them off and they ruin the whole fucking day. Like, I can't be with someone like that. Like, why are you so angry? And some people will just be like, oh, well, that's just them, or oh, that's just how she is. Like, you know, we have the stereotype of like, when they say like Latinas, they're crazy, right? While I think the stereotype is funny, I don't think it's a cute behavior. Or even the stereotype that women are more emotional. I don't agree that, you know, oh, well, she's on her period, so she's acting like a bitch, or she's pregnant, she's acting crazy. Like, I don't think that those are excuses for you to be able to have anger and have issues emotionally regulating in a relationship that your spouse is supposed to, or your partner is supposed to continue to put up with. Same with, I don't think that guys, oh, well, we have more testosterone. I don't give a fuck. I don't think that that's an excuse, and I shouldn't have to continuously put up with your anger issues and your behavior just because of that.
Yeah, so I was in a situation recently where a homie just kind of instinctively smacked me like right upside the head, you
Oh
know?
yeah,
And they were like, "Oh, my bad, it was instinctual." And I was like, "That's crazy."
like a reflex or
Yeah, something, dude.
oh
And I was like, I got reflexes too, and every single one of them's telling me I should just G money
oh yeah,
right
like hit him
back, G money that bitch. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But I was like, but no, I took a breath and controlled that. See how that
you
works?
controlled your anger.
Right.
That's-
Controlled my reflexes and my anger and like the overall just lashing out irrationally. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a good idea.
Right.
That's good. So you
Isn't it?
don't have anger
So
issues.
we've been working, yeah.
That's good.
Been
Oh.
working on that over here.
Does your friend like appreciate the control of the anger?
I sure as fuck hope so.
Oh,
You know?
that was me, guys. That was
I
me.
was trying to.
A reflex.
I didn't want him thinking that behind the camera we're toxic as fuck.
It was an accident. There was this one time where I was a wee bit intoxicated, and he spooked me while I was sleeping, and I just like uppercutted the fuck out of him on accident, and that was a not fun moment.
Well, it would have been, to be fair, it would have been a 2-piece, but I dodged the first one and I caught the other one.
Because he knew I didn't mean to.
It's like, I'm going to let that one slide. But then
And he barely knew me at the time.
But then
which is funny.
the karma's a funny thing, you know? So she's passed out on the porch and I'm worried about her. And I'm like, I gotta get her off the fucking... I don't know if she wants to come in. She's on my porch and I don't want to just bring her in there because I barely know her. And like, what if she wakes up and freaks out? So I have to wake her up first and see if she's okay with going inside. So I'm trying to wake her up and I'm like, yo, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, she's out, bro. And I learned in times of crisis, sometimes a smack to the face will do a factory reset and you'll be fine. So, pow! And then, she comes to life when we're good, but then she was upset. But I was like, you're awake now. Do you want to go inside and get some food and water? Like, would you appreciate that? Oh,
Okay,
yeah, totally.
So what else is something that you cannot work with or that you think too many people put up with?
Lying.
Yeah, lying, like I can't. That's another one. God, people put up with that shit like it is just no big deal. And I'm like, if you lie to me, especially when it comes to like dumb shit. If you lie to me about dumb shit, I know you're gonna lie to me about big shit. Why on earth would I be with you?
Yeah.
If you were an adult and you still feel like you need to lie.
What are you scared of?
Yeah, no, really. Lying, cheating.
So I'm a pretty lenient guy. Red flag for a lot of dudes is like chicks that model, like thirsty Instagram type shit.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I only get with models or IG models and strippers and bartenders who think they're models.
Mm-hmm.
So, or chicks that just like to dress a little more revealing in public, and I never gave a shit.
That's a big one.
Most of that shit I don't care about. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they want to live their life, and I chose to get with them, and they were already doing that before I showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, dude. And then there was a situation where I was dating a chick, and it was a Halloween party, and her costume was like slutty cat, like basic default costume. I was cool with it. There was a party, and then a buddy of mine was like, I can't believe that you just let your woman parade her out like that. I was like, why? What's the big deal? It's like my woman, isn't it?
Yeah.
If she starts acting weird, and acting slutty, like acting the way she's dressed, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
But I don't give a shit, dude.
There's some men who are like, no, when you're my woman, you need to be modest. You should respect me, not show off your body. And then some men are like, you can look, but you can't touch. And I want my woman to be able to be dressing how she wants if she wants to feel sexy. And this is what makes her feel sexy. So that's like a really, really good one. It's so funny because my opinion has changed over the last 10 years. I mean, like, a long time ago, I used to feel like my man should be like, you can look but you can't touch. I should wear what I want. And then now I'm completely opposite. Like when I am with someone, I feel like this is for that person and I shouldn't really be wanting to give other men the visual that they don't deserve. Another one that I see a lot of women complain about, which me personally, I wouldn't really mind. They don't like when their men are like gamers, or I know we talked about the gym earlier. It's almost like, okay, would you rather your man be in the other room gaming, or would you rather him be out partying, getting bottles, being at the club, surrounded by multiple women, being intoxicated, being like, pick and choose.
Like, it's like, well, he's in the next room, but he's home.
Or hunting. Hunting's another one.
Yeah, it's like,
Going
what's-
airsofting, stuff like that.
yeah.
No, I mean, like I'm saying,
Fishing
like
and all that.
yeah, fishing, stuff like that.
But and I do agree that a lot of those dudes spend way too much time playing video games. But it's like, well, at least he's in the other room. He's addicted to a video game, but at least he's not addicted to running the streets still.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like those are certain things that I think you can work on with your partner, and you'd be surprised at how many women they would just rather be done with the situation. And I think with how hard it is to find someone that's loyal and faithful and respectful and wants to be home with you, wants to be in the house, like, is that really something you want to like just call it quits over? Or is that something that you should try to work on with your man? Do you think that you should put up with or work with your partner if you guys aren't sexually on the same page?
It's just once in a while.
Like, okay, if you were with someone and in the initial, like in the beginning of the relationship, it was all the time, or it was like a really healthy amount that you would think, or something that you're used to that you like. And then there was a patch where maybe it just kind of stopped. Is that something that you, and I only asked this question because I had a friend who, I mean, years, they tried to work on it with their partner, and then I think they wasted too many years, but you know, they came to a point where they're like, okay, this is just no longer going to work. Would you invest years of trying to work on it, or is that something
No, because I'm DTF all day, every day, and if the other person is virtually not, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I need that energy matched. It is important. I don't care what anybody says.
Now, what if that person was pretty much perfect in every other way? Would you still work on it, or is it like, no? Like, how much time would you work on it with that person? Having conversations, going to therapy, trying new things, trying to spice it. How much would you put into it? Or is it like, nah, it's just not for me. It's for somebody else to deal with.
Because the problem is I always get chicks that are DTF, but they're terrible in every other department. I swear to God.
Oh my God.
Like damn near every girlfriend I ever had, it was just, you'd be like, hey, you wanna? And they're like, yep, sure do, all the time. And I was like, yes, dude. But then everything else sucked. So I've never actually had the other experience where it was like they were awesome, but they lacked in that department. So I don't even know. I feel like we could try to work on it, but if we didn't get anywhere, I don't think it would end up working out.
Could you work with someone who doesn't know how or doesn't like to cook?
It's not a deal breaker at all, actually.
There are some men out there that are like,
actually, get out of my kitchen. You can't cook? Thank you, because that means you won't be in here all up in my way. So yeah, that's not even a problem.
Do you think men should be more willing to work with a woman who maybe has trouble getting pregnant or may not want to have kids, even if that's something that they want, but like she checks off all the other boxes? Do you think that that's something that someone should work on, or do you think that's a fair deal breaker? I think that's a fair thing to maybe not want to work on, only because...
Well, I'm trying to put myself in a perspective, because most men want to carry on their bloodline. So if that was my goal, I'd be like, well, you're not going to work out, you know?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to carry on my bloodline with you?
I do feel like the universe isn't going to place two people on the opposite ends of that together. At least I would hope not, because that's something that's really like, we either do this or we don't, and this is a long investment. Like with me, that's actually becoming a big concern of mine now, me being 33, my daughter being 15, about to be 16, you know. Even if I got pregnant tomorrow and had another child, she would be 16 years old. So I am very like, I don't think I want to start over. And I'm actually concerned that that is going to be difficult for me to find a partner. If, in fact, I decide 100% that I don't want any more kids, I may check all the rest of the boxes, but should a guy work with me on that? Or is it a fair thing to be like, no, I'm sorry, like, I don't even want to give you a chance? So with you leaning more towards not wanting kids, you feel like it is or isn't something you should work with somebody?
If I wanted kids, then I wouldn't even stick around if she didn't.
Okay, so we kind of...
Because, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Okay. how do you feel about, because, you know, a lot of people argue whether love is unconditional or not. People believe that when you go into a relationship with certain conditions, you can say you love them all you want, but it's technically a contract. I was watching like a reel about that the other day. Do you think it's okay to work with someone who, when you first met them, had a particular job or goals, and then they switch it mid-relationship? Is that something that you can work with, or is that something that's like, no, like, this is how I wanted it, this is how I thought we should have been?
Is it going to dramatically affect anything? Because like, if I just, when you said that, I pictured somebody with their shit together, just all of a sudden decide to give it up one day and be like, I'm just gonna be a bum now, or I'm gonna do the bare minimum now. You know, I'm gonna downgrade to get a job at like fast food. I'm gonna work part time. You know, I think
It
that
just
would.
depends.
I think that would kind of bother me.
Yeah.
Because that's more of a burden. You know, if I'm working really hard and the other person's just on perpetual vacation, fucking about all the time, and it becomes like a financial issue. Because we're supposed to be a team.
So if you and your person were financially both contributing, and then one day she was like, you know what, I want to be a stay-at-home wife. I think you should be the provider. Is that something you can work on, or is it like, no, like this is not what we agreed to, and no? If she marks, because you got to think when we're discussing these topics, it's if they check all other boxes. It is something worth working on versus giving up.
I mean, in this day and age, it's pretty hard for just one person to be the sole provider. If I was in a situation where we were tackling it together and then she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna unburden myself with most of the weight, I'd feel some type of way. Because it's like, well, damn, dude, you know, what do I do now? Because it's not like I could just wake up tomorrow and start making way more money. And then it's like, now I'm looking at this person like a liability. But I guess it also depends on what is she gonna do though. Like, what is she gonna contribute? Is she gonna do everything?
Yeah.
Like around the house?
See, that's
everything. To the point where all I have to do is make money. I don't got to do nothing but make money and enjoy myself when I'm not working. Is that the deal?
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
Because if that's not the deal, then it's automatically no. But if that's on the table, then it's like, I guess I better start chasing more money because that sounds delightful.
So then you could work on it.
But then it's like, well, can she build a fence though? No, I'm probably going to have to do that too. Or pay somebody to do it. You know what I'm saying?
But you might have to do that as a single person as well, right?
Yeah, but I also don't have another obligation financially or a liability, because at that point, like, the more she depends on me financially, the more of a liability she is. Me being single, I'd still have to do these things, but I'm just looking out for me now. I don't have another obligation. Or she actually does keep shit tight and handles all the bills and just everything, you know?
Yeah.
She's the house's, like, glue.
She makes the house a home.
I bring the money. She fucking keeps it together. She handles all the formalities. That would be tight.
I think when it comes to like love and building with someone, finances isn't the only, that's just one part of it, right? Like there's so much more that comes in a relationship. And I think a lot of people, I mean, they say, you know, financial issues or dependency in a relationship or lack thereof, that can be the demise of a relationship. But I do also think that society kind of puts this pressure. When you think of like people all over the world that live so many different dynamics and lives in different countries and traditions and cultures, and you know, I think that society, at least where we're at, kind of puts that pressure of like finances as a huge issue and a huge part of relationships, and it can make or break. But at least me personally, on a spiritual level, I think differently about it. But it's a good thing to bring up because some people it's something they can work on, some people they can't.
Well, even if I was rich as hell and I could afford to just, you know, like adopt a woman, because that's essentially what you're doing. If you're a rich man and you just take a chicken